So if we all take a moment of reflection, and then we'll begin. Hammer I carry round this hearth, and all of you fellows keep this thrift. Hammer I carry for the layout, hammering grendels into flight. For no way, for no way, for no way, this hearth. But in God's spears, I am your vein, and you will know my even name. For no way, for no way, for no way, this hearth. Hammer I carry around this hearth, all of you fellows keep this thrift. Hammer I carry for the layer, hammering grendels into flight. For no way, for no way, for no way, this hearth. What's in God's spears? I am your bane, you will know my vegan name. For no way, for no way, for no way, this hearth. Hammer I carry round this hearth, all of you fellows keep this thrift. Hammer I carry for the laird, hammering grendels into flight. For no way, for no way, for no way, this hearth. What's in God's spears? I am your bane, you will know my even name. For no way, for no way, for no way, this hearth. So what I'm doing here, so for those that are new or not welcome, well, have not come for the as regular, again I'll explain. What I did there was the land blessing. This keeps out Uttengard energy and cleanses our circle. There is more to the land blessing. So what I'm going to do now, in by the holy hammer, I'm going to hallow the mead, ask for Funor's blessing. Then I'm going to, if everybody's okay being splashed in mead, I'm going to cleanse all the attendants with mead from a ye branch that is present. Hail Funor, in your name, may this mead be hallowed. Funor the whale, Funor the whale, Funor the whale. For those that, and then what we also do before I share out the mead is we sound the horn and chimes maybe. Right. What we do now is one lineman or halfman is welcome to blow the horn to signal to the Essia that we have arrived. Would anyone like to blow the horn? Yeah, brother, thank you. Thank you, brother. And to signal to the one eye that we're also here, would anyone like to sound the chime? That's all, please. Brother, again. So what we'll do now is a little bit on. We'll share out the mead. I have 2 bottles. If anyone has their own mead as well, please feel free to use that. And of course, you don't have to have mead if you don't wish. Before I start, I'll call to Odin, and then we will begin. I'll let you share that out, brother. Enough for you, man.
That's probably gone.
That's nice to meet, guys.
It is.
Sounds all good. You're not having any, man.
Yeah, Steph. Yeah, Simon. Oh, fantastic. I was going to say you too. I was going to say it'd be a good idea for Freddie to just sniff it for now, yeah. Wow. Big attendance. Okay. Are we all ready? Okay. Hail Warden, we honour your ways. Wassail hail.
Wassail.
Here we go. Right. Wassail hail, forebears of Iclingas hearth, of Iclingas hearth, to Woofer and the forebears of Woofingas hearth. We also bid you hail. Now is the month of Flilcamanoff, which means the month of free milkings. About this time, and our heathen forebears, the venerable Bede wrote, the 5th month is called Rymilk in our tongue, because therefore there was such a wealth in Britain and also in Germania, when the Anglo-Lairds come to Britain, would milk their cows thrice a day. Thrice meaning 3 times a day in Old English. Flilcamanoff is a time when cows give farmer and folk alike much to sup, eat, from it is a time of produce and plenty, and time when all around feels bountiful, swelling with few, happy and preposterous. Today we come together as holy guildsmen for the Ermunsulblót, meaning sacrifice to the great pole, which to we West Germanics is that which holds things together. In Flilcamanoff, England witnesses the full blossom of our atheling feud. It is now that murmurs plays which heralds the bygone few of retelling tragedy and comedy in theatrical verse became manifest. Typically, mummers play are short dramas with rhymed text traditionally performed in association with certain annual festivals. Mummers play often take 3 forms, the most popular of being a combat between a hero and a villain, often depicting current characters or those from ancestral past, followed by a comedic interlude. This would reinforce the steadfast nature of our kin and laird, even in times of merriment. Other popular plays, especially in Mercia, focus a scenario where a farmhand is called up for war and forsakes his sweetheart. Despite her presentations, only to return to find that she has married a fool. This reminds us of our duty to both our land and our kin. The 3rd form of mummers play was the sword dance, popularised in Yorkshire and North East England. This is a linked sword dance with drama thrown in, during which a fool is executed in the time honoured. Fashion of putting the sword lock round his neck and drawing the swords simultaneously, then a quick doctor comes to cure the victim and lighten the mood. These mummers' play were meant to be light-hearted after all. It is thought that the traditions of mumming eventually morphed into the pantomimes which are performed today. The themes, mortally and identifiable characters lend credibility, as does their traditional performance at a time of religious festivity. Sword dancing is also seen at this time and flourishes throughout England as a continued few of our Anglo-Saxon forebears. Menfolk from the villages and towns of the shires come together to reenact stage fighting of a ritual nature, wielding swords against each other. On the famous Sutton Hoo helmet, found in the ship burial from Sutton Hoo, which I can say is where I met my friend Simon. Suffolk, England, stands an emblazoned above the boar-bodied brow of the face. Two old English warriors engaged in a ritual dance, wielding swords and spears. They are engaged in a ritual sword dance to the gods, and their dance is early from the sword dancing which is still undertaken in England today. Vilcamonoff is also the time in which England's shires and towns across our homeland will raise the maypole, in which we Anglican finds a fern cedar, we all know finds a fern cedar, believe it is the offspring of the Seax and West Germanic Ermunsul, our world pillar and axis mundi. This time of year and this blot today is bound up in love and fertility, produce and plenty, and the land and folkways tradition, and few aspects of war, and of course the great pole which holds everything, all of us and all the worlds together. Truly this is a great time to be Anglican and Seax, and to live in Angleland, the author's garden, envy of the world. If we could all repeat after me, please. High ones, elder ones.
High ones, elder ones.
We stand steadfast heathens.
We stand steadfast heathens.
Of the fern cedar.
Of the fern cedar.
Ingwe and Inglefolk.
Ingwe and Inglefolk.
Anglican and English.
Anglican and English.
We bear those honoured names proudly.
We bear those honoured names proudly.
Definitely and upliftingly.
Definitely and upliftingly.
Folk of Freya.
Folk of Freya.
Folk of Woden.
Folk of Woden.
Of the rising ash and running stream.
Of the rising ash and running stream.
Essa and One Eye, we bid you hail.
Essa and One Eye, we bid you hail.
Siga Anglican.
Siga Anglican.
Siga Fern Cedar.
Siga Fern Cedar.
Siga Reagan.
Siga Reagan.
Siga Fanes of Fern Cedar.
Siga Fanes of Fern Cedar.
Wassel Hall.
Wassel Hall.
Of law, both old and wise, and from the kingly list of England, we know that Baldai is the godling of Woden Alwalda, meaning Woden Allfather, some of you might know modernly, Baldai being modernly known to many as Balder. In Old English he's Baldai, Woden the Alfather, and Frigg Freyl, Frigg the mother goddess of hearths, wife of Woden. Baldai is known also as Balder, in the root behind his name, is one who is brave, who is bold, daring, a warrior and an atheling. Moreover, the name Baldai, which has day at the end, shows us that he is a god of light, the shining one, the white one, awakening and of the Essia. He is brother of Funor, the high thunderer, and father of Brand and Fosty, the Frisian ward. In Old English, seldom is the name Baldur welded than to rights of men whose weird was to die young. Hathor is one gifted in all things. He chooses to undertake long ago. He longs for the heart of Nanna, and the two became close. Then one day it befell that Baldai, the son of Woden, troubled at the sight of Nanna bathing, was seized with boundless love for her. Indeed, his heart was set on fire by her beauty, and so the weaving of weird would soon come to pass, when the sons of Woden would fight for the love of Nanna. Soon after Baldai had become gripped by the comingness of the lovely Nanna, his brother Lethor whilst out hunting in the woods, was led astray by a mist and happened across a lodge in which were wood maidens who knew already who Herthor was, yet were unknown to him. And so he asked who they were, and they told the Wodening that their raid often determined the fortunes of war, for they were oft to involve themselves amidst the fray of slaughter on the battlefield, and for their friends they choose victory. For these wood maidens were the well cry. They told Herthor how his brother Baldai had become kindled with love for Nana, but they advised against him slaying Baldai rashly, for he was after all sprung from the godly seeds and no mere man. As soon as they had relayed this raid to Herthor, the wood maidens disappeared, and all round him became as it once was, free of all Sidon, the woods of his hunts, save a still defying tunic left behind for Herthor to wear. Now Herthor in the Yale script is said to be the god, probably closely linked to what's he called in Norse? The blind guy. Hodor. They seem to know him as in Norse, and he's the one that later would be blinded to shoot Baldai with a mistletoe arrow, but it'll probably get to that. If not in this script, it'll be later in the Yale one. Herthor, troubled by Baldai's love for his intended sought Nana's betrothal from her father King Giwar. Yet her father had already been asked likewise by Baldai for his daughter's hand, and feared the daring boldness of the Wodening, for he said the sacred strength of Baldai's body was proof even against which fastened up in the closest bonds, but which was the keeping of Miming, a wight of the woods, who also had a bracelet of secret and marvellous virtue that manifolded the wealth of the owner. The greater part of the road to the sword was best with hardship and extreme cold, so Giwar advised Herthor to harness a car pulled by reindeer, by means of whose great speed he could cross the hard frozen ridges, and when he had reached the stead he should set up his tent away from the sun in such wise that he should catch the shadow of the cave where Miming was wont to be, while he should not in return cast shade upon Miming, so that unaccustomed darkness might be thrown and prevent the white of the woodland from going out. Herthor wasted little time in setting about the task before him, and with the road first crossed his tent through slain. He passed sundry nights and anxieties and the days in hunting. The last of these long nights saw Miming, the woodland wight, cast a shadow on his tent, awake and ready for him. Herthor, wielding a spear, had summoned the most dreadful words to threaten the woodland wight into giving over to Herthor the sword and bracelet of the Welcry, spoke of which the wood wight did most quickly, and in this way Herthor earned himself the wealth from the woods. After besting Miming, Herthor returned home and aided Giwar in defending King Galdor in Saxony and his men, who through rich in number and bravery were undone by the steadfastness of Herthor and his mighty robustness on the battlefield. Thanks to his new armoury, yet in thrift, did Herthor look kindly upon the Saxon king and showed him mercy with his victory, or as we believe, redemption. I wouldn't believe so much mercy. It was after that by the greatness of his word, Herthor was also able to aid Helgi and Hallegland in wooing Floa of the Finns into betrothal. Following this, Baldur suitably armed strode into the kingdom of Giwar to earn the hand of Nanna. Giwar bade him learn Nanna's own mind, so he approached the maiden with the most choice and pleasing words, and when he could win no healing for his beads, he persisted in asking the reason of his refusal. She replied that a god could not wed with one of us because the vast difference of their natures prevented by any bond of intercourse. There was no firm lowly were always dimmed. In fine, the things of earth would not mate with those of the heavens, being sundered by a great original gulf through the difference in nature, inasmuch as mortal man was infinity far from the glory of the divine majesty. With this, Nanna invaded, giving her hand to Baldur. When Hrethel heard this from Giwar, he complained to Helgi, his dear friend, of Baldur's deeds. Both were in doubt as what should be done and beat their brains over divine plans for converse with a friend in the day of trouble, though it removeth not the peril, yet maketh the heart less sick. Amid all the desires of their souls, thoughts and war won. Out and battle at sea was fought against Baldur. Gods wreaked havoc on both sides, for it is said that Woden and Funor, an holy array of the gods, fought for Baldur. There one beheld a war in which God and man were mingled. Of lore, both old and wise, and from kingly lists of England, we know that Baldur is the godling of Woden, Alwalda and Freed-Freyr. Baldur is known also as Baldur, and the root behind his name is one who is brave, who is bold and daring, a warrior and an atheling. Moreover, the name Baldur, which has day in its end, shows us that he is a god of light and shining one, white one, awakening. Oh, I've read that. I'm going to stop reading these pages. Okay. But Hrethel was clad in his steel, the fine tunic, and charged into the fray, bravely with his men. However, Funor, son of Woden, was swinging his club with great might, and shattered all shields before him, calling as loudly on his foes to attack him upon his friends to back him up. No kind of armour withstood his onset. No man could take his stroke and live whatsoever. His blow fended off. It crushed neither shield nor helm, endured the weight of its dint. No greatness of body or strength could serve. First the victory would have passed to Baldur, but that Hrethel, through his line, had already fallen back, darted up, hewed off. Funor's club at the haft made it lame, and with this lost Hrethel's side, regained momentum, and crashed into Baldur's army like an unstoppable ball. Victory was to Hrethel and a loss to Baldur. Geldor, the king of Saxony, who met his end in this war, was set by Hrethel upon the corpses of his oarsmen, and then laid on a pyre built of ships, and greatly honoured in his funeral by Hrethel. Then, to stop any more troublesome business delaying his hopes of marriage, he went back to Giwar and enjoyed the coveted embrace of Nanna. All around, Hrethel united in celebration at his victory. Yet victory for Hrethel was short-lived, for he was soon after defeated in the field by Baldai, Rome a little before he had crushed and was forced to flee, where once Baldai had done so. The conquering Baldai, to shake his veins, who were parched with thirst, with the blessing of a timely drought, pierced the earth deep and unearthed a fresh spring. The thirsty ranks were made with gaping lips, and the water that gushed forth everywhere, the traces of springs, earnished by his name, are thought not quite to have dried up yet. They have stopped to well so freely as of old. Baldai was continually harassed by night's phantoms, feeling the liveliness of Nana, and he fell into such ill health that he could not so much as walk, and began a habit of going his journeys into a horse car or four-wheeled carriage. So great was the love that he had stepped. His heart and now had brought him down almost to extremely of decline, for he thought that his victory had brought him nothing if Nana was not his prize. For Hrethel, the same of losing Baldai, saw him take to flight into the wilderness, for it oft happens that those upon Rome has come some inconsumable trouble of spirit seek, as though it were medicine, to drive away their sadness, far and sequestered retreats, and cannot bear the greatness of the grief, and the fellowship of men, so dear for the most part is solitude to sickness. After wandering through woodlands, Hrethel happened upon a cave, where he met the same three Walcry again, and unto their ears Hrethel unburdened his frustrated heart, and recounted them how he had been bested by Baldai, and so sought isolation from his folk and all who know him. In reply, they gave him further aid, that if he could first lay hands upon a food of extraordinary delightfulness, which had been devised in to increase the strength of Baldai, for nothing would be difficult if he could only get hold of the danity which was meant to enhance the royal of his foe. The words of the maidens inspired Hrethel's mind, which is instant confidence to fight with Baldai. For in brave souls, vehemence is not always shaped by reason, nor doth counsel defeat rashness. On the other side, Baldai mustered his folk to arms and met Hrethel in the field. Both sides met a great slaughter. The carnage of the opening armies was nearly equal, and night stayed the battle. About the third watch, Hrethel, unknown to any man, went out to spy upon his foes. When he came to the camp on the foe, he heard that their maidens had gone out carrying the secret feast of Baldai. He ran after them and burst into their dwelling. In guise, he made out to be a lutanist, and poured forth a melody most pleasing to their ears. Now the three maidens had three snakes, of whose venom they were wont to mix a strengthening compound for the food of Baldai, and even now a flood of slaver strengthening compound for the food of Baldai. Even now a flood of slaver strengthening was dripping on the food from the open mouths of the snakes. But Hrethel said that he was of Baldai's fellowship, and so the maidens, in their gracious kindliness, bestowed on him a belt of perfect sheen and girdle which assured victory. Retracting the path by which he had come, we went back on the same road, and meeting Baldai, plunged his sword into his side and laid him low half dead. When the news was told to the soldiers, a cheery shout of triumph rose all the camp of Hrethel, while Baldai's folk held a public mourning for the fate of Baldai, he feeling no doubt his impending death, and stung by the anguish of his wound, renewed the battle on the morrow, and when it raged hotly, bade that he should borne on litter into the fray, that he might not seem to die. Ignobly within his tent, on the night following, Hela was seen to stand by him in a vision, and promise that on the morrow he should have her embrace. The budding of the dream was not idle, for when 3 days had passed, Baldai perished from the excessive torture of his wound, and his body given a royal funeral, the army causing it to be buried in a barrow which they had made. And so it was for the love of a young maiden that Baldai and Hrethel fought with gods, waging war on each other in Germania, and a war which saw Funor lose his bygone club, later to be replaced by the hammer which so many of us today declare as mark of our Ermunsulblót, known possibly as Milden, commonly as Milnir. Funor's hammer. Love is that so begilding that sees even brothers come to blows in fight and war. Whatever a man or of gods, the gods love, is a thing most beautiful when the sun shines yet. A thing most bitter when the darkness reigns. All who are bound by weird may fall into the warm inshore of love, and oft it is that where love used to grow and sprout godly tides in that same field after harvest, a loathing most strong takes hold, for as has been said by wiser heads, it takes a lot of love for one to loathe another as strongly as they do. Nevertheless, love is that which man and woman kindle together to form a closer bond, not found anywhere else, and it is from these loving fetters and honest unions that offspring are born, who continue our lines and herald with them the future of our folk. Okay. Does anybody have any food offerings they'd like to give today, or Raymond? I thought you would, brother. If you were happy to put them in that bowl, brother, and we can share them out during the symbol. Thank you, brother. What we'll do during the symbol is then we'll share them out. It is thought that by many a scholar and heathen alike that the old English poem, The Dream of the Road, was formerly a truth about a god who is most likely Baldai, ascending to the heavens and having fallen through pain. The dream of the rood is its core, speaks a strong warrior who, following attack, is put on the road where he ascends to the heaven The Christ God, however, was not a warrior. He abhorred welfare and all forms of fighting, teaching his followers to turn the other cheek to their aggressors. This is clearly at a disconnect with the hero of the dream of the Rood. Indeed, without the Christian without the Christian interpollution, the Lord on the Rood seems to be the same hero as the hero from the Heeland Old Saxon book, in which once again the Christ God is no longer a conscientious objector from the Levant. He is instead a proud and great warrior who leads his men into battle, obviously being our God, is believed ring giver to his fanes. Of course, the ring giver obviously being Baldur, not Christian God. It is thought by many that Heeland likewise speaks of Baldur, son of Woden, yet like the dream of the Rood, it has been bastardised by the Christians, and in doing so, Jesus was given a Germanic character. In the name of Jesus was superimposed on the godlike of Baldur. For so difficult was it to convert the Germanic race to Christianity that the Christian religion had to convert rapidly, adapt and significantly change to fit the requirements of Germanic laicdom, and adapt and significantly change to fit requirements of Germanic laicdom. Put simply, the elder heathen would not be led by weak Middle Easterner, and so the Christians had to fundamentally change the way in which their God portrayed to subvert our forebears. As we heard about Solomanoff, the Christians likewise bastardised the Ichabod, a most bygone blot of the Anglican, which saw the union of the Alwalda and the Earth Geden to bring about a good harvest following winter. The dream of the Rood is therefore, like many other things, stolen from our heathendom and turned to work of the foreign creed of Christianity. One line of the dream of the Rood rings particularly loud, as it is mirrored in the Adas, where Baldur is slain again, and from which we will hear more of at Ermunsulblót, and which reads that all Cretan wept upon hearing of the death of Baldur. What follows is a reheathenized form of the dream of Rood, in which the Scop has a dream within which the Rood speaks and tells him of Baldur ascending to the heavens after his fall in warfare. Now, modernly, the Ermunsulblót is the blot we do in November, so to hear more on that, as the script says, please ensure that you're there at Ermunsulblót, where there will be more on that. What happens in Baldur's dream. Wait, I wish to say of the best of dreams, what to come to me in the middle of the night after the speech bears lie bidding their rest. It seemed to me that I saw the greatest tree brought into the welkin, be round in light, the brightest of beams. That beacon was all over trimmed in gold. Gemstones beckoned it that proudly stood at the corners of the earth. 5 more were blazoned over the span of its shoulders. All who held frith with the Alwalda warded it, their amazing sight of a world to come. Holy whites beheld it, therefore all the folk of the land, and that is wonderfully born. Sorry about that. Unbroiled was the great pole, and I stained with blood, struck through, wounded and cut. I saw this tree of wonder, well worthed in its beddening, shining in glee, glared with gold. Icling gemstones had blessed the tree of the woods. Nevertheless, I could see through all that a wretched and bygone struggle. Where it first began to bleed its right side, I was overcome with sorrows. I was fearful for that lovely sight. Then I saw that streaking beacon war. It's huge, its hangings at times were steamy with wet bloodliness, stained with flowing gore. At other times it was glistening with golden wealth. Yet I, lying there for a long while, beheld sorrowfully the tree of the ring-giver, until I heard that it was speaking. Then the best of wood said in words, "It happened long ago, it calls to mind still. I was hewn down at the holt's end, ripped up by my roots. Strong men then took me, bore me on their shoulders, until they set me down in a clearing. I stood there for all folk to see and gaze. On lovingly my highest point seemed to reach the heavens. I saw then the shining one, Baldai, Lord of Teutons, pierced any blooded ready to be raised upon me. There I dared, let down by Baldai, God to bow or bust apart. It was then I saw the corners of the earth tremor. The young warrior had been stripped. That was the son of Wardin and Wanda, strong and steadfast. He was raised up onto the road, glorious in the sight of many. There he was, ready to go for Farron, and on to the great halls. I shook when the warrior hugged me, yet I dared not to bow the ground and fall to the earth. I stood there true. The road was reared. I heavied the mighty Icling, the Lord of Light. I dare not topple or reel. I was besplattered by blood oozing out from Baldai's side after launching him for Farron. Many great things I've seen in this clearing, yet never have I beheld such a dark day turn to brightness, light as the clouds rolled back, and all was Waldor. The welkin shone awesomely, as the welkin Fader bade his son come home. All creation wept, mourning their king's fall. Baldai was upon the rood. Lairdman came hurrying from afar. There that Icling, I witnessed it all. I was surely pained with sorrows, yet sank down into the hands of the grieving. They left gifts and made beads to the son of Wodin. I before them standing tall, dripping with blood. As befitting the godling, they wrote him an earthen hall. His kin within sight of his killer, within the barrow, therein they laid the welder of victories. Then they began to sing mournful songs as their beloved Icling left them. I lingered there a good while in that clearing. After the shouts of war, men faded. Baldai's body entombed in glory for all to see. Fanes of the Lord wrapped me in gold and silver. Now you could hear, my dear man, that I have outlasted the deeds of those days. Now the time has come that men across Germania, broad and wide, all those of the line of Manus, giving hail at this stead where I stand, and through me the son of Wardin reached the hall of the slain. Therefore I stand wonderfully under the heavens, because the shining one honoured me above all other roods, the warden of heavens. Realm likewise, Baldai hailed his own mother, freed Freya herself before mankind, and all over the kindred of women. Now I bid you, my dear man, to speak of this deed to all men, unwrap it wonderfully, that it is the Ermunsul that Baldai rode upon the great halls, to be received by thunderous applause by God and Guthrecker alike. Death he tasted in Middengadda, yet Baldai rose anew in the hall of the slain, as a mark to all men, that death on this earth is not the end. Either he will come again to Middengadda and lead our folk after the day of doom. Every soul out to seek through the rude, the great halls from the ways of earth, those who wish to dwell with their forebears and their gods. I gave heed to the Ermunsul with a blissful heart. Now my hope for life is that I am allowed to seek that great pole, to worthy its well once more. I wish to do so is strong in my heart, and my ward is right wise in the rude. I am not wealthy with friends on this earth, yet they went for Farron and sought the Waldor Fader. Now they live in Ossengarda. Ossengarda, believed to be the Old English name for Asgard, with the Alwalda or Father dwelling a magnificence. One day the Ermunsul shall ferry me from this lone life and bring me then where there is greatness and with the folk of the gods, seated at the feast, where there is everlasting thrift, and seat me where I will be allowed afterwards to dwell in glory. Booking Megan, well aimed those with an unforgotten mare song, those who fell in slaughter on earth welcome me gladly to their ranks. In life and death, Baldai showed our folk the way from Middengadda to the great halls, a true warrior, a wodening. The sun was victory fast upon his Farron. Awesome and loud were the army of souls who rode with Baldai into the hall of the slain. Woden Alwander's keep, his godly Keith and kin were welcomed him back to his homeland, and he remains a shining example to all a Leidman's glory in life. He is everlasting, and that the deeds of an Ethelborn soul will swing open the gates of the great halls, where that weirdful day you shall feast and make merry with the elder ones and your forebears. To the fern Sidra, the dream of the rude shall be seen as an English truth, Baldai's ascension to the great halls, even if the form handed down to us has been bastardised by the church. Many of the details are at discord with Christian few, and the native English and Germanic view still shines brightly and sounds loudly like a great horn ringing in the deep. The bleeding god throughout Germanic lore is shown to be a hero who dies young through pain, and he is always known to be well loved and admired, and he is usually known to be a twin. Indeed, it is the relationship with his brother that leads to his death, yet always through death Baldai comes back. Baldai shows us that those who fight and die in war are not gone, they do not stay dead, they live on as timeless heroes of veneration and emulation. Baldai, a loving son and great warrior, shining example to us all, that noble May song never withers, but withstands the ages as a model of worthiness, as the timeless wisdom of Beowulf tells. O wise man, do not grieve, better for every man to avenge his friend, rather than lament for him overmuch. Each of us must endure the ending of life. in this world. Let those who can therefore achieve glory before coming of death, that is fine, lot of the warrior when life is over. If we could all repeat, please. Hail Baldai!
Hail Baldai!
The bleeding god!
The bleeding god!
Hail his homecoming!
Hail his homecoming!
Wassail hail!
Wassail hail!
I'm going to do the part now where we offer the iron to the Wayford in front of Baldai. So what we're going to do now is those of us that have bought iron. For those who don't have iron, feel free to make connection with the soil. It's as simple as putting your fists on the soil and just saying a few words to Baldai. So I'm going to put my iron in front of the Wayford. I'm going to have a few moments with Baldai. Everybody made peace with Baldai that feels they need to make peace. Is everybody happy to continue? Okay. I swear before this fellowship that I shall fight to the death for my king. If my king or lord shall die, this is the mead oath, by the way, I shall take his stead and fight as he would have fought. If any man here sees me taken with weak heart and runs away, he shall call to mind this pledge of mine made here before my king. If we could all repeat, please.
Yep.
Hail Baldai! Long live the Shining One!
Long live the Shining One!
The undying, bleeding God!
The undying, bleeding God!
Hail his homecoming!
Hail his homecoming!
Wassail hail!
Wassail hail!
From the law of Germania, it is written that spoils of war, won from the foe, were often dedicated to Woden and to war gods of the Essia. In likewise few, we here shall follow our forebears and so leave our weapons to the Essia, which we've just done, as you each lay your weapon before Woden and Tu and Baldai, say with it, Hail the Essia. So we've already done that, so just literally done that. So moving on. The Ermunsulblót is a religious heathen pole that in the days of the elder heathen towered over the landscape in plain clearing. Heathens would flock to the Ermunsulblót for Blottas and other godlydom. The Ermunsul stood as a central place of worship for our forebears. Just as the Ermunsul in our cosmos stands at the centre of everything, with all the worlds and great halls dependent on it, the Ermunsul is Leod's structure, for it binds everything from the smallest deer to the mightiest of gods. Our warden, in his years of wandering during Waldor's skip, with only his ravens and wolves for company, took Farah across the Ermunsul and the worlds. Warden exemplifies Ethelwonnen Faran in the years of his wandering to become a better than he once was. Warden hangs from the Ermunsul, and in doing so, mastered the knowledge and the use of the runes. Ermunsul has witnessed and borne all things. It is rightfully thought that us within Anglican consider that whilst the Ermunsul was cut down by the Christians and many of our heathen ways, the Wales were suppressed, that the Ermunsul lives on in merry old England, in the form of the maypole, bearing absolutely no ties to Christianity nor the other foreign creed. The English maypole is a towering view which represents the unbridled and unrivalled folkways of the English. In the British Isles, the maypole is primarily found in England and the lower land Scotland, which is hail from the same Anglo-Saxon forebears as Northern English, and indeed the parts of Wales where English influence was strongest. The maypole, as descendants of the Ermunsul, is a symbol which embodies summer and all the joy and light which surrounded this time of year. When England blossoms with her unrivalled majesty, the maypole is seen by many as part of a fertility sidhu. At onset summer, nearly always beckoned by greenery and garlands where boys and girls take a tassel in their hands and skip merrily and wonderfully round it. We can all repeat, please, again. Hail the Ermunsul!
Hail the Ermunsul!
Our maypole!
Our maypole!
Cut down by the Franks!
Cut down by the Franks!
We raise you still!
We raise you still!
England, my England!
England, my England!
This tread oil!
Sceptre oil!
Wonderful and true ye be!
Wonderful and true ye be!
Unwavering is my love for thee!
Unwavering is my love for thee!
Hail the maypole!
Hail the maypole!
Our Ermunsul!
Our Ermunsul!
Wasselhouse!
Wasselhouse!
It is right that the joys of summer are bathed in the Ermunsul. Our maypole plays centre stage at our blot here today. Okay. Come ye, all merry folk of England, be thee happy and take by the hand. These here strips, view, there is one for each of you. Now don't be shy, give it a try. With a sunny soul, skip around our maypole. In merry old England, the green man is never far from sight. His leafy heathen face adorns many. Hall and stead, and even on many churches, is linked to the land of the summer, and to many he is linked to Ingwi Frey of the one-eye gods. There is also a few symbols of ours which is strongly resonates with our folkways, and indeed those in our history who have sought to defend the English folk from foreign oppressors such as Heward the Wake, Sigurd Beorn and Robin of the Hood, have undertaken the role of the Green Man and fought for our land and folk and for what is right. Many like these who live in the woods, off-grid and attack the thanes of the Uttengard are often called green men in their own right. The green man is often also linked to the maypole. In Thanes of Ermunsulblót, the representative of green man continues the long-held feud of the Anglican by choosing from our ranks a summer king and summer queen. The coupling of the pair represents the coupling of male god, perhaps a welcome god, or the one eye with the earth Gideon. Throughout the raising of the maypole, the choosing of a summer king and summer queen is godlydom and folkway rolled into one. We won't do the May Queen and oh, actually we've got Simon and Sarah here, haven't we? Would you two like to act as the May Queen and May King? Because what the tradition is we're meant to have two members, male and female, that are actually a couple, and we do actually have that. I've never performed this before, let's have to resort it. Is there a script, Chris, for the May King and Queen? Or?
It wasn't the original, but
Yeah.
I cut it out because at the time we only had male members. So we're not going to have a making and a making. So
Okay.
Not going to happen.
Maybe we can look into it next year. Yeah, that's fine. In other words, sorry God, we won't do that this year. I haven't got the script for it. Sorry about that. Okay, not a problem. Okay, so we don't need to do that. The maypole. The maypole is up. Now give me the cup. I drink to the garlands around it, but first unto those whose hands did compose the glory of flowers that crowned it. A half to my girls, whose husbands may earls, or lords may be granting my wishes, and when that ye'd wed to the bridal bed, then multiply a log to fishes. A drink to the summer king and summer queen of Thanes of Ermunsulblót, which we didn't have. No, we won't do that bit. We don't have that. That's the last part there. Lo, in this month, of 3 milkings, we have heard tell of fighting and warfare. So we have also laid down our weapons that speak of our honours past, so that we shall hear the God whose binding to our Saxon forebears shone resolutely through the welding of the Seax. The name of the god, Saxonot, is likely a title and formed of 2 English words, Seax and Nat. The Seax is a small sword or knife wielded by the Elder English and Germanic for all manner of things from hunting to warfare, with the later word Niat nearly always being rendered as companion. Therefore a godly name, Seaxnat, means Seax companion or Seax friend. Other meanings have been given. However, Niat could instead be a form of the word net, meaning to tie or bind, and so here Seaxnat would mean the binding of another, as they both show that Saxonat is linked with the Seax and its welding, meaning he is a god of war, which could therefore mean he is of the Esai and Kith to the other warlike gods. As is the case with New English words, and Old English can have more than one meaning, and so Nyat could rather mean an ox or a cow, cattle. More broadly, this would therefore mean that Saxonot is not only linked to war, but also to farming and agriculture. A god tied to the land as well as the sword, Saxonat can therefore be seen as likewise the Funor, who is limited to warfare, but is also a god of thunder and the bringer of rain, as well as lightning, just as mankind is one-dimensional, nor are the gods. The Old English Leod, the Seax or Saxons, who the South English bloodlines hail from were named after the Seax, with Saxons rightly meaning folk of the Seax or sons of the Sax. The Seax was status symbol in Old England, which could only be wielded and worn by freemen of the laird. The Saxons were first bound to the Seax and Seaxnat. Indeed, all three Seaxnats and the Saxons are unbreakably bound to one another. The South English and North Justice should still feel strongly tied to the Seax and Seaxnat. Moreover, in all Celtic tongues and English are known as Saxons, the most wielded effluum in Seaxnat. On the flags of both Essex and Middlesex are borne the mark of 3 Seaxes, a resurrection of decayed intelligence, written in 1605 by Richard Verscan, referred to as the Anglo-Saxons, bearing a standard of the 3 Seaxes argent, in a field of glues in other worlds, 3 silver Seaxes on a red background. The Seaxes flown on the flags of Essex and Middlesex have been bastardised and look more akin to the cutlass sword, and this is because by the time of the Tudors the Seax had long since stopped being wielded by the English and other Germanic folk, and so Englishmen of 1605 onwards were less familiar with their true style than, of course, the Seax wielding forebears were. There is a holy number in the Germanic religion, and so 3 Seaxes would seem the hark back of the bygone Saxon few of bearing these 3 Seaxes on standard before coming under the laws of Wessex. For much of the Anglo-Saxon era, Middlesex was a part of Essex, being under the laws of East Saxon kings. However, even before this, the few would have been inseparable, and the forebears of each likewise, with those of Sussex and Wessex, hailed formerly the old Saxony in Germania. Aside from some law which holds an Esgwen to be the first king of Essex, therefore from Sled through to Sigurd, all East Saxon famously began their names with an S and traced their descent all the way back to Seaxnat, their Leipzig god. Few in England, up the now tide, these Iclingas sons may have chosen a new name beginning with S when they became king. Amongst the greats are 2 of Weirfang Frecken, Seaxred and Seaweird, part of our Frecken, whose defiance in the face on Christianity we heard tell at Engletockham, which was 2 blocks ago, I believe. Right? The kingly list of Essex, outstanding because all the Anglo-Saxon kingly lists there alone see Saxnot and not Woden as the first forebear of kings. By the middle to late Anglo-Saxon era, all kingly lists follow by the same few, whereby Woden Aldwalda, Aldeblotter of the Essia, stood as the founder of the English kingly lines. At the time when the king lists in England were becoming a hot topic, Mercia held supremacy over the Southern English, or the Seax kingdoms of England. Essex was under the thumb of Anglo-Mercia, in placing Saxnat as the ultimate forebear of their kings. No doubt the Essex raid was trying to assert a native and different view from their overlords and reaffirm their identity, where it is the case that other courts adhered to the placing of Woden, Allfather, as kingly forebear, which became a political must for Iclingas. The East Saxons were adhering to which became a political must for Iclingas. The East Saxons were adhering to an older Sax view, which is probably common to all English and the Uskis and Dutch Saxons. So we can be reasonably certain that Siaxnot in heathen age was regarded as the forebear of Sax kings. Moreover, the old Saxon baptismal vow we know that Saxnot is a high-standing god who was highly venerated by our forebears, as he was placed alongside Funor and Woden when the Franks made old Saxons renounce their gods. There is a little practice where we can pass the Sax round and we can show I believe in Saxnot. Now we'll do this respectively so that we're not infiltrated by anything. I believe in Saxnot.
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 Forget Chris behind with her.
I believe in Saxnot.
I believe in Saxnot.
I believe in Saxnot. I believe in Saxnot.
I believe in Saxnot. I believe in Saxnot. I believe in Saxnot.
I believe in Saxnot.
That's fine. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. Right. Nearly there now, guys. I believe, if we could all repeat please, I believe in Funor
I believe in Funor.
and Woden and Saxnot. I forsake the new ways.
I forsake the new ways.
Long live the fern cedar.
Long live the first cedar.
Siga Saxnot.
Siga Saxnot.
Siga Saxnot.
Siga Saxnot.
Siga Saxnot.
Siga Saxnot.
Wassel hair. As we have heard of Saxnot, it now seems right to oh wait, no, that's enough, so we're not going to do that today. Okay, so We'll repeat this one last bit. The fire has been lit. The fire rises.
The fire rises.
However small the torch passed to me,
Small torch past.
his eye shall steward its growth. With honestness, I shall never see it die. I will fan its flames. Whosoever my feet tread, and my head lie, in Funor's name, in Woden's name, in Saxnot's name, I am a Fane of Fern Cedar. Hail the awakening! Hail England! Hail the Ermunsulblót! And that is it for today's script. What's all hail? So now, there is one more Sidu that Steph's very kindly created an Iclingas and an algaes to offer to Ingrid, Tom and Timothy, and also Valdai and the Ermunsulblót. I'm good, thank you, Ray.
ankle's killing me.
Which one is it?
This one. There's no way I could have stood on it for an hour and a half.
No. Is that how long it was?
About that, yeah.
I was going to say, because with how long we did, I mean, half of us were getting on our knees to try and
If we're okay to
strain.
like the reading, not brilliant. If we can cover the readings, and then we'll move on to the
That's the best thing about
Sangeri and the
each
Maypole.
block that goes on.
It's okay, we're not
It
doing the
comes
toe
each
shit,
part
but
of the
I'm going to keep that on. Reese and Dan while we do it. I won't put it on the
But you'll also
Maypole,
be,
because there's certain
you
people
know,
that don't.
quenched through a bit of mead as well.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's fine.
Beautiful.
That burns well. By any chance was it Simon that said to burn the yet? That burns really well.
It was about
It smells beautiful
an
as well,
80-foot
I must say.
maple. Absolutely beautiful.
It smells.
Whoa.
It's got a beautiful smell.
Got the rooms like in here.
Yeah, we can put them on the flame, yeah. Because they're going to be a bit hard to stand in. Hi, Lingui. We offer you an offering of Ingwas. Al Baldai. Al the Ermunsul. We offer you algis. There we go. Okay. So now, Reese and Dan have got a very. Have you got any poems today, Ian? Or no? Okay, not a problem. Simon, because I know sometimes. Not a problem. That's what I'd just like to check before we move on. Reese and Dan have a very important Sangeri song today, and Reese, if you could sing, feel free to sing very hard because the Maypole is over there.
I was going to say, unless we're doing the vision of the Maypole, and
Yeah.
but
Yes,
I
that'd
mean,
be
depending on
good.
things, if they're already being recorded.
No, they don't want to.
Oh, that's fair enough.
If you stand there, and just feel free to.
All right. I've got the.
All the skins, yeah. Come, brother. Come in. After them. There was serpents mentioned in the reading, so it'd be totally appropriate. Raymond's got some serpent offerings as well. Seaweed was mentioned again. You offer that to you wish, brother. Brilliant. Would anybody like to dance the Maypole at all? Donna?
I'll do, yeah.
Depending on how many want to do it. Do you want to dance around it, Steph? Yeah, Donna's going to do it. So that's, how many strings have we got with that one? Okay, 12, brilliant, okay. Yeah. Race.
Don't worry, you're not going to get recorded, so that'll be more confident.
Luke, Bran, are you two going to do the Maypole? Take a ribbon, brothers and sisters. Yeah, they can have the crown. Would you guys like to join the Maypole? Fantastic. Would I be alright to get photos? Would everyone be happy with photos? No? Alright, not a problem. Do you want to join, Cal, or you don't have to if you don't want to? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's a good idea, brother.
As soon as smoke starts going, we will never forget. Yeah. Still recording.
Grace,
Yeah, man.
do you want to come over towards the Maypole with Dan and perform it over here?
Yeah.
They're okay with being on camera. Yeah. Try and not get people onto that. I'm going to place it there.
Originally we used to skip.
I think stand in circles.
I'm really glad we got this.
Similar to
See how it goes.
so I like double conundrum.
Am I allowed to walk on the Maypole?
Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
Which way do we go?
Probably clockwise, it's usually the way, isn't it? So if some go clockwise, and then if we can, some can like, sort of go in and out each other like a zigzag. It might be a bit difficult with the trees, I understand.
Like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1,
Yeah.
2, and then the ones go one way and the twos go the other.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll give it a go. It doesn't matter if it doesn't really work.
So who's going to be ones then? Who's going
Yes,
to be
ones.
So there's one's going that way and then two's coming this way?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll start as one way and then...
1, 2, 1. Yeah, so Brandon 1.
Yep.
Raymond 2. Remember the numbers. Kimball 1. Sister Donna 2. Steph 1. Simon 2.
What am I doing going under you? Don't know that way.
Fred 1. Oh, Fred's not on. Sorry, Fred.
Sorry.
That's fine. And then number 1.
So which
if
way
number
ones?
number 1's going clockwise, and number 2's go anti-clockwise. So number 2's going towards Fred. Walking towards Fred. And
Is it just going on YouTube?
yeah. And number 1's are going towards Dan and Reese.
So it goes over their head.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's almost like a zigzag. Let's try it, and it's just a bit of fun as well. It is traditional fun.
Now I'm going that way.
So,
Mate, you know what number you are, don't you? That's that. Number 2, so you go that way. I go under. I think so, yeah.
number 2, yeah.
Which one's doing it?
He is, yeah.
Very good.
Which way's twos again, sorry?
2's anti-clockwise. Number 1's are going to go that way towards Reese and Dan, and then number 2's are going to go. That way, like passing Callum.
So, do we go under?
Under, yeah.
Twos go under.
Under and over, yeah. That's it, yeah. So should we give it a go? Ready, Stan, we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Brilliant. First time. Doing really well. It's going well, it's going round. It's really well, it's a bit of fun. Really well, I'm really impressed. They're doing really well. I'm really impressed. Oh. Doing really well, guys. Sangoas, great stuff.
See, it's better when you go quick, right?
It's really traditional, I love it. Nearly there. You're doing really well. It looks really good. I'll get a picture of that. I'm really, really pleased with the music. Really well done, Steph. should have got his old.
In the valley, it's done.
Done really well, guys. Well done, everyone. Fantastic, excellent. First maypole, but that went really well. Well done, guys. What's the hell? Oh, God, I nearly went over then. Anyway. Okay. Brilliant. That went really, you know, I've got to get a picture of that.
Yeah, standing for an hour and a half and then
No chance I could have done that on my own.
I took part from
Can you move it? Yeah, that's fine. Was it as bad as that time we went to Western with the football? Eh? Bad as that time we went to Western with the football?
That's that same lake, isn't it?
Oh, God.
I'm alright.
Okay. Ooh. Well done.
Thank you, course.
Excellent game performance. I'm gonna like finish greeting this. I'll get it off for the toasts.
That turned out epic.
That was good. You did being racing great. You guys are like the centre of that because you're performing the music. We're all ready for the cymbal, guys? For the toast, and I'll just say farewell to this. For yeah, of course. Thank you all for watching back at this. This is Fans of Fernsida Ermunsulblót. Happy thrill coming off, and please remember, get out here, join us. We're working hard. We're out here in nature. We're doing this surreal. This is, you know, it's no game. This is our faith, our culture, our tradition, our gods. Wassail hail, drink ale, Siga Fans of Fernsida. Thank you, Kim Wolf. You can hit that now.